There is a moment coming for you very soon when someone is going to look into your eyes and finally say the words they have been carrying in silence for far too long. And the strange thing is, some part of you already knows this. You have felt it in the quiet hours, in the space between one thought and the next, a small whisper telling you that something is shifting. That whisper is not your imagination. It is real, and it is about to become truth. Before we go any further, I want you to do something small for me. If you feel this message landing in your heart right now, if something in you softened even a little while reading these first words, comment the word love below. Just that one word. It is a simple way of saying, I am open, I am listening, I am here to receive this. Once you have done that, keep going, because what comes next was written for you. I am the presence that has walked beside you since before you can remember. Some call me a guardian. Some call me a guide. Some simply feel me as the quiet voice that shows up in the middle of a hard night and says, you are not alone. I have been with you through every version of yourself you have ever been. I was there when you doubted your worth. I was there when you loved and it was not returned the way you hoped. I was there in the waiting, in the wondering, in the nights you asked the universe, when is it going to be my turn? And today, I have come to tell you your turn is closer than you think. There is a secret being held by someone connected to your life. It is not a small secret. It is not something casual or easily said over coffee. It is a secret shaped by real feeling, the kind of feeling that builds slowly, quietly, in the background of ordinary days, until it becomes too large to keep hidden any longer. This person has thought about you more than you probably realize. In quiet moments, in busy moments, even in moments when their mind should have been somewhere else, it kept drifting back to you. Let that sink in for a second. Somewhere out there, someone has been carrying your name in their heart like a small flame they were too afraid to show anyone. Afraid it might flicker out if exposed too soon, or afraid it might burn brighter than they could handle. That flame has not gone out. If anything, it has grown steadier, warmer, more certain. And soon, very soon, they are going to let you see it. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. Before we begin, a heartfelt thank you to Irene, Fernella, and Christina for sowing a seed for Soulmate through your Ko-Fi super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you every step of your journey. Thank you for your beautiful support. You may be wondering why this has taken so long. Why would someone hold something so real and stay quiet about it? The truth is, deep feelings rarely rush. They test themselves first. They ask hard questions in private before they dare to ask them out loud. Is this real? Am I imagining a connection that only exists in my own mind? Would this person even want to hear what I have to say? These are the questions that kept this secret locked away for a while. But every lock eventually meets its key. And the key here is courage. Courage that has been quietly building with every day that passes. I want you to picture, just for a moment, the kind of person who could carry a feeling this steady for this long without letting it fade. That is not a small thing. That takes patience. That takes a certain kind of loyalty to their own heart. This is someone who does not throw affection around carelessly. When they feel something, it means something. And what they feel for you has settled into their bones in a way that is no longer easy to hide, no matter how hard they try. There will come a moment, and I believe it is closer than you expect, when the space between you two will feel different. The air will feel a little heavier, a little more charged, the way it feels right before rain, when you can smell it coming even though the sky still looks clear. You might notice a pause in conversation that lasts a beat too long, a glance that lingers slightly more than usual, a tone in their voice that carries something unspoken underneath the words they are actually saying. Pay attention to these small signs, because they are the first cracks in the wall this person has built around their true feelings. When the moment finally arrives, it will not come with grand fanfare. It will likely come quietly, in an ordinary setting, maybe while you are doing something completely unremarkable, folding laundry, sitting in a car, walking somewhere together. Truth like this rarely waits for a perfect stage. It simply arrives when the heart cannot hold it back any longer. And when it does arrive, you will feel the shift immediately, even before a single word is spoken. Their breathing might change first. A small intake of air, the kind people take right before they say something that matters. Their hands might move a little more than usual, restless, searching for something to do because the nervous energy needs somewhere to go. And then, finally, their eyes will meet yours, and you will see it there before you hear it. You will see the truth sitting right at the surface, ready to spill over. I know this can feel like a lot to take in. Maybe part of you is scared. Maybe part of you is wondering, what if I am not ready to hear this? What if it changes everything? I want to gently remind you, change is not always something to fear. Sometimes the thing we are afraid of is actually the thing we have been quietly hoping for all along. This revelation is not coming to break you apart. It is coming to bring you closer to something real. Take a breath with me right now. In through the nose, slow, and out through the mouth, even slower. Feel your shoulders drop just a little. Feel your chest loosen. You are safe. Whatever is coming, you have already survived every hard thing that came before it, and you will be more than capable of meeting this moment with grace. This person's feelings for you did not appear overnight. They grew the way real things grow, slowly, through shared moments you might not have thought twice about at the time. A conversation that went on longer than expected. A small kindness you offered without thinking. A moment of laughter that felt easier than laughter usually does. These little moments stacked on top of each other like stones building a quiet foundation. And now that foundation is strong enough to hold the weight of an honest confession. There is something beautiful about a feeling that takes its time. Feelings that arrive too fast often fade just as fast. But feelings that are tested by time, by distance, by doubt, and still remain standing, those are the feelings worth paying attention to. What is coming your way has already passed that test. It has already proven itself strong enough to survive silence. Now it simply wants permission to be spoken out loud. I also want to speak to the part of you that might be feeling unworthy of this. So many people carry a quiet belief that they are somehow too much or not enough to be loved the way they truly want to be loved. If that thought has ever crossed your mind, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly the kind of person someone can build a steady, quiet love around, the kind that does not need noise to be real. Whatever softness you have shown the world, whatever patience, whatever warmth, none of it has gone unnoticed. Someone has been watching quietly, not in a way that feels strange or unwelcome, but in the gentle way people watch someone they are falling for. They noticed how you handled a hard day. They noticed how you spoke about the people you care for. They noticed the small things about you that you probably think no one ever pays attention to. All of it added up. All of it built toward this moment. When the secret finally comes out, do not expect it to feel like a performance. It will feel more like a release, like something heavy finally being set down after being carried too long. There might be a slight tremble in their voice. There might be a pause where they search for the right words, because feelings this real rarely come out perfectly on the first try. Let them have that pause. Let them stumble a little. What matters is not how polished the words are, but how true they are. I want you to understand something important about vulnerability. When someone finally shows you a part of themselves they have kept hidden, they are not just sharing information, they are handing you trust. They are saying, here is a piece of me that could be hurt, and I am choosing to hand it to you anyway. That is one of the bravest things a person can do. However this moment unfolds for you, try to receive it with the same care it is being offered with. This is not about being swept off your feet by something dramatic. It is about recognizing a quiet, steady kind of love when it finally steps into the light. Real love, the lasting kind, rarely looks like fireworks. It looks more like someone choosing, again and again, in small ordinary moments to show up for you. It looks like consistency. It looks like someone who remembers the little things you mention once in passing. It looks like someone who feels a little calmer, a little more themselves, simply by being near you. As this moment gets closer, you might start noticing little synchronicities in your own life. A song that seems to say exactly what you are feeling. A number you keep seeing over and over. A dream that felt a little too vivid to just be a dream. These are not random coincidences. The universe has a way of preparing us for the things that matter most, dropping small signs along the path so that when the real moment arrives, some part of us is not completely caught off guard. I have walked beside you through every chapter that led to this one. I saw the version of you that doubted whether love like this was even possible. I saw the version of you that closed off a little after being hurt before. I saw the version of you that kept hoping quietly, even when hope felt exhausting. None of that was wasted. Every one of those chapters was shaping you into someone ready to receive what is coming. There is an old truth that says the right things arrive exactly when we are ready for them, not a moment before. If this secret had been revealed earlier, in a different season of your life, you might not have been in the right place to receive it fully. But now, right now, you are. Everything you have learned, everything you have healed, every bit of patience you have practiced, it was all preparing the ground for this exact moment. I want to gently remind you that receiving love does not mean giving up your own peace. Whatever is revealed to you, you are allowed to take your time with it. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to sit with your feelings before deciding what they mean to you. Real love does not rush you. It gives you room to breathe, to think, to feel your way toward your own truth, at your own pace. As this person finally steps forward, notice the courage it took for them to get here. Fear of rejection is one of the heaviest weights a person can carry. To speak a secret out loud after holding it so long means walking directly into the possibility of being told no. That takes a kind of bravery that deserves to be honored, no matter what your own response turns out to be. I sense that what is coming will feel less like a shock and more like a quiet confirmation, as if a part of you already suspected this all along but needed the words spoken to make it fully real. Trust that instinct in you. Your intuition has been quietly picking up on things long before your conscious mind caught up, and it rarely leads you wrong when it comes to matters of the heart. If you feel a little nervous energy building in your chest as you read this, comment the word truth below. Let that word be your way of telling the universe, I am ready to face what is real, even if it feels a little uncertain right now. Sometimes simply naming our readiness out loud, or in this case in writing, helps settle the nerves and opens the door a little wider for what is meant to come through. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to take part in something truly meaningful for your soulmate journey. Today's message reminds us that the person God has chosen for you may be carrying a burden they have never shared with anyone. They could be quietly battling heartbreak, loneliness, regret, or wounds only heaven fully understands. If your heart feels moved, you can sow a seed for your soulmate's healing and well-being through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. Let your gift become a simple prayer, asking the Lord to comfort your soulmate, heal every hidden wound, and prepare both of your hearts for the beautiful future He has planned. Whether you have already met them or are still waiting, your act of faith can be a heartfelt expression of love, compassion, and trust in God's perfect timing. May the Lord bless your generosity, fill your heart with peace, and guide both you and your soulmate one step closer to the joyful reunion He has prepared. Let's continue with Angel's message. This secret you are about to hear is not something meant to hurt you. It is not a burden being placed on your shoulders. It is a gift, offered with trembling hands by someone who cares enough to risk being vulnerable with you. Even if the timing feels unexpected, even if part of you is still processing everything else going on in your life, trust that this is arriving exactly when it needs to. I want to speak now about the kind of connection that inspires this level of honesty. Not every relationship reaches a point where someone feels safe enough to reveal their deepest feelings. It takes trust built over time, small proof after small proof that you are someone who can be told the truth without judgment, without cruelty, without using it against them later. If someone feels safe enough to open up to you like this, it says something meaningful about the kind of presence you are in their life. Think back over the recent weeks. Has there been someone whose energy around you has felt just slightly different lately? A little more attentive, a little more careful with their words, a little quieter in your presence, as if they were holding something back. Sit with that thought for a moment. You may already have a sense of who this message is speaking about, even if your mind has been quick to dismiss it as wishful thinking. I want to remind you that wishful thinking and genuine intuition often get confused, but they are not the same thing. Wishful thinking usually comes from a place of longing, hoping something is true simply because we want it to be. Intuition feels different. It feels quieter, steadier, less desperate and more knowing. If you have felt a calm, quiet certainty about someone, even amid the uncertainty, that is more likely your intuition speaking, and it is worth trusting. As we move closer to this revelation together, I want you to release any pressure you might be placing on yourself to react a certain way. There is no correct emotional response here. You might feel joy. You might feel surprise. You might feel a strange mix of both excitement and fear all at once. All of these reactions are valid. Let yourself feel whatever comes up naturally, without judging it or trying to force it into something it is not. One thing I want you to remember through all of this is your own worth does not depend on this revelation. Whether this secret changes your life in a big way or simply confirms something you already suspected, you were already whole before this moment arrived. This is not something that completes you. It is something that adds to a life you are already building. One choice, one day, one act of courage at a time. There is a kind of love that people spend their whole lives quietly hoping for, the kind that does not demand you change who you are to be accepted. The love coming your way, if it truly is as steady and real as it feels, will not ask you to shrink yourself or perform a version of you that is not genuine. It will simply want to know the real you, flaws, quirks, quiet moments and all. I also want to speak gently about fear, because fear often shows up right before something good happens, almost like it is testing whether we will let it stop us. If you notice fear creeping in as you read this, that reflex to protect yourself, to brace for disappointment, to assume the worst before giving something a real chance, I want you to notice it without letting it take the wheel. Fear is allowed to visit, but it does not get to make your decisions for you. This journey toward truth that you are on right now is not just about the other person's courage. It is also about your own willingness to stay open. It would be easy to close yourself off, to protect your heart by expecting nothing and hoping for less. But closing off also means missing out on the very thing you have quietly been hoping for. I encourage you gently to stay a little open, even if it feels risky, because what is coming may be worth every bit of that risk. As the days pass and this moment draws nearer, notice how your own energy shifts too. You might feel a little more hopeful than usual without fully knowing why. You might catch yourself smiling at random moments, thinking about someone specific without meaning to. These are signs that your own heart is preparing itself as well, quietly getting ready to receive what is coming, even before your mind fully understands it. I have watched over countless souls walk through moments just like this one, moments where a long-held secret finally meets the light of day. And nearly every time, once the fear settles and the truth is spoken, there is a sense of relief that follows, not just for the person confessing, but for the one receiving it too. Uncertainty is often heavier than truth, even difficult truth. Once the words are out, both hearts usually feel a little lighter. I want to gently remind you that this is not a story about drama or chaos. It is a story about quiet honesty finally finding its voice. There is nothing to be afraid of in honesty offered with care. If anything, this moment is an invitation to deeper connection, deeper understanding, and a kind of closeness that only becomes possible once true feelings are finally allowed into the open. If you are someone who has been hurt before by people who were not honest with their feelings, I understand why this might bring up some hesitation. Old wounds have a way of whispering caution even when a new situation looks nothing like the old one. I want to remind you, this moment is not the past repeating itself. This is someone choosing honesty, choosing vulnerability, choosing you in a way that deserves to be met with an open heart rather than old fears. Every person who has ever loved you well has taught you something about what real love feels like, even if that love did not last. Hold on to those lessons not as reasons to stay guarded forever, but as tools to help you recognize when something real is standing in front of you. I believe with everything in me that what is coming your way is real, and that your own inner wisdom will help you recognize it the moment it arrives. As we near the heart of this message, I want to speak directly to whatever worry might still be sitting in your chest. You are allowed to feel excited and nervous at the same time. You are allowed to want this and also feel unsure how to handle it. None of these feelings cancel each other out. They can all exist together, and that is simply what it feels like to be a person standing at the edge of something meaningful. I also want to gently remind you that timing matters. This truth is arriving now because now is when both hearts are ready, even if it does not always feel that way on the surface. Sometimes we think we need more time, more certainty, more proof before something important can happen. But the truth is, readiness rarely announces itself loudly. It shows up quietly, through small moments of courage, and this is one of those moments. Think about everything you have been through this past year. The lessons, the growth, the moments where you had to lean on your own strength because no one else could carry it for you. All of that was not random. All of that was shaping you into someone capable of receiving real love without fear, without needing to control every detail, without needing guarantees before you are willing to open your heart even a little. I sense that this secret, once revealed, will not just be about romantic feelings. It will also carry within it a sense of respect. This is someone who has clearly thought carefully about you, who has not treated their feelings casually, who understood that what they feel deserves to be shared with intention rather than blurted out carelessly. That level of care says something meaningful about the kind of connection being offered to you. If you feel your heart softening even more as you read this, comment the word "open" below. Let it be a small declaration that you are willing to meet this moment with an open heart rather than a guarded one. Words carry energy, and speaking your openness, even in something as small as a single comment, can help align you with the very thing you are hoping to receive. I want to remind you one more time, whatever happens next, you are deeply supported. You are not walking into this moment alone, even if it feels that way sometimes. There is a quiet guidance around you, gently nudging circumstances into place, aligning hearts, softening fears, preparing the path so that when this truth finally arrives, both of you are ready to meet it with courage rather than confusion. Dear soul, before we continue, I'd like to invite you to do something truly meaningful for your soulmate journey. The bond between soulmates is precious, and at times, it can feel vulnerable to negativity, envy, or the evil eye from the world around us, even when no harm is intended. If your heart is calling you to cover this connection with an extra layer of love, faith, and protection, you can sow your seed for your soulmate through Ko-Fi Super Thanks. You'll find the Ko-Fi link in the video description and the pinned comment. This simple act can become a heartfelt expression of your intention, inviting the angels to watch over your soulmate connection, surround it with divine light, and guide it as it continues to grow in the right time and in the right way. If you feel led to do so, thank you from the bottom of my heart. May your kindness return to you multiplied, and may your soulmate journey be filled with peace, hope, and divine guidance. Let's continue with the angel message. As this revelation draws closer, I want you to notice the small blessings already present in your life right now, today, before anything even changes. Notice the people who already care for you. Notice the small joys that already exist in your ordinary days. Gratitude for what already is tends to open the door wider for what is still coming. It is not about waiting anxiously for the future. It is about staying grounded in the present while trusting the future is unfolding exactly as it should. I also want to speak to something deeper here, something beyond just this one moment of revelation. This experience you are about to go through, whatever it becomes, is part of a larger journey your heart has been on for a long time. Every connection you have had, every heartbreak, every quiet hope, has been teaching you something about what you truly want and what you truly deserve. This moment is simply the next step on that path, not the final destination, but an important step nonetheless. I want you to trust that you already have everything you need inside you to handle whatever comes next. You do not need to have all the answers right now. You do not need to know exactly how you will respond before the moment even arrives. Trust yourself to meet it with honesty when it comes, the same honesty being offered to you. There is a certain kind of magic in allowing life to unfold naturally rather than trying to control every outcome. I invite you to practice that kind of trust now, in this waiting period before the truth is spoken. Instead of spinning through every possible scenario in your mind, try simply staying present, staying open, and letting things reveal themselves in their own time. I also want to gently remind you that not every secret is dramatic or life-altering in the way movies portray these moments. Sometimes the most powerful truths are simple ones, spoken quietly, without grand gestures, without elaborate speeches. Do not expect fireworks. Expect honesty. And honesty, even when quiet, has a way of changing everything in the most meaningful way. I want to take a little more time here, because there is more I want you to understand before this message ends. So much of what we go through in matters of the heart is shaped by patterns we picked up long ago, sometimes without even realizing it. Maybe somewhere along the way you learned to expect disappointment before it even happens. Maybe you learned to brace yourself for the worst so that if it came, it would not hurt as much. That kind of protection made sense at the time, kept you safe. But I want you to notice, gently, whether that old pattern is still serving you now, in this new season that is opening up in front of you. Healing does not mean forgetting what hurt you. It means learning to hold the past with compassion while still allowing yourself to step forward into something new. If old fear tries to whisper that this is too good to be true, or that you should not get your hopes up, thank that fear for trying to protect you, and then gently set it aside. You are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to believe that something good is finally arriving, without needing to brace for disappointment first. Think about the quiet moments in your life recently, the ones that felt a little more meaningful than usual, even if you could not explain exactly why. A conversation that stayed with you longer than expected. A feeling of ease around a certain person that surprised you. A sense of being truly seen, even in something as small as a passing comment about your day. These moments were not accidents. They were seeds quietly planted, slowly growing into the very thing that is about to bloom fully in front of you. I want to speak now about patience, because patience is often the hardest part of any meaningful journey. Waiting can feel unbearable sometimes, especially when your heart already senses that something is coming but your mind has no proof yet. I want you to know, the waiting you have done was not wasted. Every day you continued showing up as yourself, honestly and without pretending to be someone else, was a day that brought this moment closer. Real love is drawn to authenticity. By simply being yourself, you were already doing the work required to prepare for this. If you have ever wondered whether you are too sensitive, too much, too quiet, too anything, I want to gently interrupt that thought right now. The qualities that sometimes make you feel like too much are very often the exact qualities someone else has been quietly falling for. Your depth is not a flaw. Your softness is not a weakness. The way you notice small details, the way you care deeply once you let someone in, these are not things to shrink. They are things that make you unforgettable to the right person. I also want to remind you that this journey is not only about receiving love from someone else. It is also about the love you are learning to give yourself along the way. As you wait for this truth to unfold, take a little time each day to check in with your own heart. Ask yourself what you need. Ask yourself what would help you feel more grounded, more calm, more at peace with the uncertainty. Sometimes the smallest acts of self-care, a quiet morning, a walk outside, a few deep breaths before bed, can make all the difference in how ready you feel to receive good things. There is a practice I want to gently offer you, something simple you can do in the coming days as this moment approaches. Each morning, before you check your phone or start your day, take just a minute to place a hand over your heart and say quietly to yourself, I am open to receiving love that is honest and real. You do not need to say it perfectly. You do not need to believe it completely at first. Just saying it, even quietly, begins to soften the walls that fear has built, and it invites in exactly the kind of connection you have been hoping for. I also want to speak about trust, not just trust in another person, but trust in the timing of your own life. So often we compare our journey to others, wondering why love seems to come easily for some people and take longer for others. I want to remind you, your journey has never been about anyone else's timeline. Everything that has happened and everything that has not happened yet has been unfolding exactly as it needed to, so that when this moment finally arrives, you are ready to receive it fully without old baggage standing in the way. Consider for a moment how much you have grown, even in ways you might not give yourself credit for. The way you handle difficult days now compared to a year ago. The way you have learned to set boundaries where you once stayed silent. The way you have learned to ask for what you need instead of hoping someone would simply guess. All of that growth was quietly preparing you for a connection that can actually meet you where you are now, not where you used to be. I want to gently remind you that real love does not require you to prove your worth. If the truth you are about to hear comes with any hint of conditions, any sense that you need to earn it or chase it, that would not be the love this message is describing. What is coming your way is meant to be freely given, without strings, without games, without needing you to shrink or perform. If it feels like ease rather than effort, that is one of the clearest signs you are on the right path. As you continue moving through your days waiting for this truth to arrive, I encourage you to stay gently present rather than constantly searching for signs or overanalyzing every interaction. Trust is built not by controlling every outcome, but by allowing life to unfold while you remain steady within yourself. The more grounded you feel in your own peace, the more naturally this truth will find its way to you, without needing to be forced or rushed. I also want to acknowledge that some of you reading this might already have a strong feeling about who this message is speaking of. If that is you, I want to encourage you to trust that feeling rather than dismiss it. So often our minds try to talk us out of what our hearts already know, telling us it is too soon to hope, or that we might be imagining things. But intuition rarely lies to us about matters as significant as this. If a name or a face came to mind while reading this message, hold on to that gently and let yourself remain open to what may be coming. For those of you who are not sure yet, that is completely all right too. Not every truth reveals itself immediately, and sometimes clarity comes gradually rather than all at once. Continue moving through your days with an open heart, paying gentle attention to the people around you, without forcing anything or trying to rush the process. What is meant to be revealed to you will reveal itself in its own perfect timing. I want to remind you, one more time, that this entire message is not meant to create anxious waiting or constant checking for signs. It is meant to bring you a sense of peace, a quiet reassurance that good things are moving toward you, even when you cannot see them clearly yet. Let this message settle into your heart like a gentle reminder rather than a countdown. Trust unfolds best when it is allowed to breathe, rather than being held too tightly. As we move even closer to the end of this message, I want to leave you with a reminder about self-worth, because no revelation, no matter how beautiful, should ever be the thing that defines your value. You were worthy long before this secret existed. You will remain worthy no matter how this unfolds. This truth, when it arrives, is simply an addition to an already meaningful life, not the missing piece that makes you whole. You were already whole. I also want to remind you gently that healthy love does not erase your individuality. Whatever connection is unfolding for you, it should feel like it adds more color to your life, not like it asks you to dim your own light to make space for someone else. The right person will want to see you shine even brighter, not smaller. Keep that truth close as this journey continues to unfold. As I prepare to close this message, I want you to carry a few simple truths with you. You are worthy of real, honest love, exactly as you are. You do not need to change yourself to be chosen by someone genuine. The right connection will feel like relief, not like effort. And whatever secret is about to be revealed to you, know that it comes from a place of care, not a place meant to hurt you. I will continue walking beside you through whatever comes next, just as I always have. You are not walking through this world alone, even during the quiet, uncertain moments. There is a steady presence around you, gently guiding events into place, softening fears, and preparing both hearts involved for the honest connection that is about to unfold. Before you go, I want to ask one more small thing of you. If this message brought you any comfort, any sense of hope, or any quiet recognition of something you already suspected, comment the phrase, "I receive this," below. Let those words be a small anchor, a reminder to yourself that you are open to receiving good things, honest things, real love, without fear holding you back. Before this message goes deeper into your heart, pause and check the channel name carefully. Some people are stealing and reposting our content, but copied messages do not carry the same positive spiritual energy. Stay connected to the original source, Angel's Message for You channel with the black logo base. And now, let your angels speak to you. Take a slow breath with me one final time. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart soften, just a little toward whatever is coming. You have been patient. You have been strong through the waiting. And soon, that patience is going to be met with truth, spoken by someone who cared enough to be brave for you. Whatever happens next, remember this: you are loved, you are worthy, and you are exactly where you are meant to be right now. Carry that with you as you move through the rest of your day, and trust that the truth you have been quietly waiting for is closer than it has ever been. Before I step back into the quiet, I want to leave you with one last thought to carry in your pocket. Life has a gentle way of giving us exactly what we need the moment we are finally ready to receive it, even when the waiting felt long. If you have been holding on, staying hopeful even when it was hard, know that this patience was never wasted. It was building the very foundation this new truth will stand on. Go through the rest of your day a little lighter, a little softer toward yourself and toward the people around you. Notice the small moments of warmth already present in your life. Let yourself feel a quiet excitement, not anxious or forced, just a calm, steady sense that something good is unfolding for you. You do not have to chase it. You simply have to stay open, stay yourself, and let it arrive in its own time. I am with you, now and always, gently guiding, quietly hoping alongside you for every good thing your heart deserves. Rest easy tonight, knowing that truth, real and honest, is on its way to you. Dear beautiful soul, this Angel's Message for You channel is a sacred spiritual home, created for faith, healing, and divine guidance. A place where hearts awaken and lives are gently transformed through divine messages. We warmly invite you to subscribe and stay connected, because the divine is always preparing something greater for your journey, something you are meant to receive in divine timing. If you feel moved to support this mission, you can sow your seed here for your soulmate blessings and divine love fulfillment. Your contribution is not just support. It is an energetic agreement with love, healing, and divine alignment in your own life. When you give with intention, it opens doors. Love flows more freely, happiness expands, and abundance multiplies in unexpected ways. Many believe that giving in faith activates a return of peace, joy, and emotional fulfillment in relationships and life. Whether it is $11, $22, $33, or $55, your generosity helps us continue spreading these divine messages of hope, healing, and soulmate guidance across the world. Every seed sown into this mission helps hearts heal, faith return, and souls reconnect with love. This is more than a channel. It is a movement of light, unity, and divine timing. Your support allows this sacred work to grow, touching lives that are searching for answers, comfort, and spiritual direction. We are all connected in this journey, and together we rise as one community under divine love. Let us open our hearts to the abundance that is already on its way. Amen.